Hello, and welcome to my channel.
The town of Evergreen was alive with holiday cheer as the Christmas fair preparations began. The streets were adorned with twinkling lights, and the air was filled with the scent of freshly baked gingerbread and pine. The townspeople bustled about, eagerly setting up stalls and decorations in the town square. Amidst the festive atmosphere, there was one man who struggled to find joy in the holiday season. Ethan Thompson, a 35-year-old widower, had lost his wife, Sarah, 2 years ago. Since then, he had been plagued by grief, finding it difficult to embrace the happiness that surrounded him. Ethan's days were filled with a sense of emptiness and loneliness. He went through the motions, working at his job in the local bookstore and interacting with his colleagues and friends, but his heart remained heavy. The holiday season only intensified his feelings of loss, reminding him of the happiness he once shared with Sarah. As Ethan walked through the town square, he couldn't help but feel a pang of envy as he watched families laughing and children playing. The colorful lights, the cheerful music, and the laughter that filled the air seemed to be mocking him, reminding him of what he had lost. He wandered aimlessly through the fair, his gaze fixed on the ground. The twinkling lights blurred into a haze as he tried to suppress the memories that threatened to overwhelm him. He felt like an outsider in his own town, disconnected from the joy and merriment that enveloped everyone else. Suddenly, a familiar voice broke through his thoughts. "Ethan! There you are." Ethan looked up to see Lily, his coworker and friend, approaching him with a warm smile. She was carrying a tray of steaming hot cocoa, the scent wafting towards him. "Hey Lily," Ethan greeted her with a half-hearted smile. "What brings you here?" Lily handed him a cup of cocoa, her eyes filled with concern. "I saw you walking around with that somber expression, and I thought you could use a pick-me-up. The Christmas fair is supposed to be a time of joy, you know." Ethan nodded, taking a sip of the warm cocoa. It tasted comforting, like a hug in a cup, but it did little to ease the heaviness in his heart. "I'm trying, Lily. But it's hard. The holidays just remind me of Sarah so much, and it feels like I'll never be able to find happiness again," Ethan confessed, his voice barely above a whisper. Lily placed a comforting hand on his arm. "I can't even begin to imagine what you're going through, Ethan. But maybe, just maybe, the Christmas fair might help bring some joy back into your life. It's a time for community and togetherness, after all." Ethan mustered a weak smile. "Maybe you're right, Lily. Maybe being around people and seeing their happiness will remind me that there's still some joy left in the world." Please support my channel by liking and subscribing. Ethan's struggles were evident in his interactions with his colleagues at the bookstore. His usually bright and friendly demeanor had been replaced by a somber and distant expression. His coworkers tried their best to lift his spirits, but their efforts often fell flat. One day, as Ethan was shelving books in the back room, he overheard a conversation between his co-workers, Lily and Mike. "I just don't know how to help him," Lily said, her voice tinged with frustration. "He used to be so full of life, and now he's just a shell of his former self." Mike sighed deeply. "I know what you mean. It's like he's trapped in his own world of grief, and we can't reach him no matter how hard we try." Ethan listened to their words, feeling a pang of guilt. He knew that his friends were worried about him, but he didn't know how to let them in. The pain of losing Sarah was still fresh, and it consumed him every waking moment. The day of the Christmas fair finally arrived, and the town square was transformed into a magical wonderland. Stalls lined the streets, offering everything from handmade crafts to delicious treats. The air was filled with laughter and excitement as families and friends gathered to celebrate the holiday season. Ethan wandered through the fair, observing the joyous interactions between the townspeople. He couldn't help but feel a sense of longing for the kind of connection and community that seemed to elude him. As he walked past a group of carolers, he caught sight of his friend, Mike, who was leading the singing with his booming voice. Mike noticed Ethan and beckoned him over. "Hey, Ethan. Join us. It's the perfect way to get into the holiday spirit," Mike called out with a wide grin. Ethan hesitated for a moment before joining the group. As they sang together, he felt a flicker of warmth in his heart. The harmonious voices and the shared joy reminded him of the power of community and the strength that could be found in coming together during difficult times. After the caroling session, Ethan found himself surrounded by his friends, Lily and Mike, as well as other familiar faces from the town. They laughed and chatted, their voices mingling with the festive music that filled the air. Lily turned to Ethan with a smile. "See, Ethan, this is what community feels like. We're here for you, no matter what." Ethan felt a surge of gratitude wash over him as he looked around at the smiling faces. He realized that he wasn't alone in his grief, and that the support of his friends and community was a lifeline he had been neglecting. As Ethan continued his exploration of the fair, he found himself drawn to a stall selling handmade ornaments. The intricate designs and vibrant colors caught his eye, and he couldn't resist admiring them. "Beautiful, aren't they?" a voice said from behind him. Ethan turned around to see a woman with twinkling blue eyes and a warm smile. She was the owner of the stall, and her name was Emily. "They're absolutely stunning," Ethan replied, his voice filled with genuine awe. Emily chuckled softly. "Thank you. I pour my heart and soul into each one. It's my way of spreading a little bit of joy during the holiday season." Ethan nodded thoughtfully. "I've been searching for that joy, but it's been elusive. Losing my wife has made it difficult to find happiness again." Emily's smile softened, and she placed a gentle hand on Ethan's arm. "I can't imagine the pain you've been through, but I believe that joy can be found in the most unexpected places. Sometimes, all it takes is a small spark to reignite the light within us." Ethan looked into Emily's eyes, seeing a glimmer of hope reflected back at him. He felt a warmth spread through his chest, a tiny flame of possibility flickering to life. "Thank you, Emily," he said, his voice filled with gratitude. "I needed to hear that." Emily squeezed his arm gently. "You're welcome, Ethan. Remember, joy can be found in the most unexpected places. Don't give up on finding it." As Ethan walked away from the stall, he couldn't help but feel a renewed sense of hope. He realized that he had been closing himself off from the world, shutting out the possibility of happiness. But Emily's words had planted a seed of hope within him, and he was determined to nurture it. As the days passed, Ethan found himself becoming more involved in the activities of the Christmas fair. He volunteered to help with the organization, eager to contribute to the sense of community that had begun to envelop him. One evening, as he helped set up a booth for a gingerbread house competition, he struck up a conversation with an elderly couple named Martha and Henry. They had been married for over 50 years and were known in the town for their love of Christmas traditions. Martha smiled warmly at Ethan. "You know, young man, traditions have a way of bringing people together and spreading joy. We've always believed in the power of shared experiences during the holiday season." Henry nodded in agreement. "It's those moments of laughter and connection that truly make this time of year special. It's about creating memories that last a lifetime." Ethan listened intently, his heart swelling with a newfound appreciation for the magic of Christmas traditions. He realized that these moments of joy and connection were what he had been missing in his life. "Thank you, Martha and Henry," Ethan said, his voice filled with gratitude. "You've reminded me of the importance of traditions and the joy they can bring." Martha patted his hand gently. "It's our pleasure, dear. Sometimes, all it takes is a little reminder to help us rediscover the magic of the holiday season." As Ethan continued his involvement in the fair, he made an effort to embrace the traditions and activities that had once brought him joy. He participated in cookie decorating contests, joined in on caroling sessions, and even tried his hand at crafting ornaments. With each new experience, Ethan felt a sense of connection and belonging that he hadn't felt in a long time. The traditions became a bridge between his past and his present, reminding him of the love and happiness he had once shared with Sarah. As Ethan continued to explore the fair, he stumbled upon a small booth tucked away in a corner. The sign read "Wish Upon a Star," and it was adorned with twinkling lights and shimmering decorations. Intrigued, Ethan approached the booth and was greeted by an elderly woman named Agnes. Her eyes sparkled with wisdom and kindness as she beckoned him closer. "Welcome, young man. Would you like to make a wish?" she asked, her voice soft and soothing. Ethan hesitated for a moment before nodding. "Yes, I would. But I'm not sure what to wish for." Agnes smiled knowingly. Sometimes, the most powerful wishes are the ones that come from the heart. Close your eyes and listen to what your heart desires. Ethan closed his eyes and took a deep breath, allowing his heart to guide him. Memories of Sarah flooded his mind, her laughter, her warmth, and the love they had shared. He felt a surge of longing for that kind of connection once again. When he opened his eyes, he found himself looking into Agnes' wise gaze. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice filled with gratitude. Agnes nodded and patted his hand gently. "Remember, dear, the magic of Christmas resides within us all. It's up to us to embrace it and let it guide us." As Ethan walked away from the booth, he felt a renewed sense of hope in his heart. He realized that he had the power to choose happiness, to open himself up to the possibility of love and joy once again. The town square was abuzz with excitement as the Christmas fair reached its peak. The air was filled with laughter, music, and the tantalizing aroma of freshly baked treats. The stalls were bursting with handmade crafts and gifts, and the joyous spirit was infectious. As Ethan made his way through the fair, he noticed a commotion near the center of the square. Curiosity piqued, he approached the crowd and saw a group of children eagerly gathered around a stage. A man dressed as Santa Claus stood on the stage, his booming voice filling the air. "Ho ho ho! Who's been good this year?" he asked with a twinkle in his eye. Ethan couldn't help but smile at the sight. The innocence and wonder in the children's eyes reminded him of the magic of Christmas. He felt a surge of joy welling up within him, erasing the weight of grief that had burdened him for so long. As he watched the children take turns sitting on Santa's lap and sharing their Christmas wishes, Ethan felt a sense of renewal wash over him. He realized that the joy of the holiday season was not just for children, but for everyone who was willing to embrace it. As Ethan continued his journey through the fair, he found himself drawn to a small booth tucked away in a quiet corner. The sign above it read "The Enchanted Emporium," and it was adorned with twinkling lights and shimmering decorations. Intrigued, Ethan approached the booth and was greeted by a woman with silver hair and kind eyes. Her name was Evelyn, and she had a warm smile that seemed to radiate comfort. "Welcome, young man," Evelyn said in a soft voice. "Step into the Enchanted Emporium and let the magic of Christmas surround you." Ethan stepped into the booth and immediately felt a sense of wonder wash over him. The shelves were filled with beautifully crafted trinkets and ornaments, each one more enchanting than the last. The air was infused with the scent of cinnamon and evergreen, and soft music played in the background. Evelyn watched Ethan's awestruck expression with a knowing smile. "You see, young man, the magic of Christmas is all around us. It's in the twinkling lights, the laughter of children, and the warmth of human connection." Ethan nodded, his heart swelling with a newfound appreciation for the beauty and wonder of the holiday season. He realized that he had been so consumed by his grief that he had forgotten to open himself up to the joy that surrounded him. As he left the enchanted emporium, Ethan felt a renewed sense of purpose. He knew that the magic of Christmas was not just something to be observed, but something to be embraced and shared with others. As the days of the fair drew to a close, Ethan felt a sense of bittersweetness wash over him. The connections he had formed and the joy he had experienced had brought him immense healing and comfort. But he also knew that the fair would soon come to an end, and he would have to face the reality of his life once again. On the final day of the fair, a small ceremony was held to express gratitude to the volunteers and organizers who had made the event possible. Ethan stood among the crowd, his heart filled with appreciation for the people who had helped him heal. As the fair came to a close, Ethan found himself surrounded by friends, both old and new. They laughed, shared stories, and expressed their gratitude for the sense of community that had been fostered during the event. Ethan's heart swelled with gratitude as he looked around at the smiling faces. He realized that the fair had not only brought joy into his life, but had also given him a newfound sense of purpose and belonging. "I can't thank you all enough for being there for me," Ethan said, his voice filled with emotion. "The fair and each one of you has helped me find joy again. I'm ready to embrace life and all the happiness it has to offer." His friends smiled at him, their eyes filled with love and pride. Lily spoke up, her voice filled with warmth. "Ethan, we're so glad to see you happy again. You deserve all the joy in the world." As they toasted to new beginnings and the power of love and community, Ethan knew that he had found his way back to happiness. The Christmas fair had not only brought joy into his life, but had also given him a newfound purpose to spread love and happiness to others. In the days following the fair, Ethan fully embraced the joy of the holiday season. He decorated his home with twinkling lights and ornaments, immersing himself in the festive spirit. He attended holiday parties and gatherings, relishing in the laughter and love that surrounded him. One evening, as he walked through the town square, he saw Lily and Mike setting up a makeshift ice rink. They waved at him excitedly, inviting him to join them. Ethan laced up his skates, feeling a surge of exhilaration as he glided across the ice. The cold air nipped at his cheeks, but his heart was warm with happiness. He laughed and spun, feeling lighter than he had in years. As he twirled under the twinkling lights, Ethan realized that he had finally found joy again. The fair had been the catalyst for his transformation, reminding him of the power of love and community during the holiday season. As the holiday season drew to a close, Ethan reflected on his journey of healing and rediscovery. The Christmas fair had been a turning point in his life, a reminder that love and happiness could be found even in the darkest of times. Ethan gathered his friends at his home for a small gathering, wanting to express his gratitude for their support and love. As they sat around the fireplace, sipping hot cocoa and sharing stories, Ethan's heart swelled with warmth. "I can't thank you all enough for being there for me," Ethan said, his voice filled with gratitude. the fair, and each one of you has helped me find joy again. I'm ready to embrace life and all the happiness it has to offer." His friends smiled at him, their eyes filled with love and pride. Lily spoke up, her voice filled with warmth. "Ethan, we're so glad to see you happy again. You deserve all the joy in the world." As they toasted to new beginnings and the power of love and community, Ethan knew that he had found his way back to happiness. The Christmas fair had not only brought joy into his life, but had also given him a newfound purpose to spread love and happiness to others.